Hi everyone!
Hello.
We are going to be showing you your season 5 hair and makeup with Bella. I don't know if you can see yet, and I'll scoot the camera closer so you can see, but I did half of her makeup already, so the video doesn't take as long, and then I will show you the other half after I do her hair. So first, especially for those of you that have athletes that have straight, like silkier or thinner hair, you need to get a brush like this. Okay, it's a bristle brush. This is from Goody. Get it from Target, Walmart, Walgreens. That's gonna help get the ponytail smooth. I've already straightened her hair, even though her hair is naturally straight. And now I'm just gonna start combing it back into a ponytail. And this can take a while, so you're gonna have to be patient with it to try and get out all the bumps. And sometimes it takes longer than others, depending on the hair. So, just gonna keep brushing it, trying to make it as smooth as we can, and making sure that the ponytail stays way up on top of the head. It's going to take a couple times around just to make sure that there's no bumps underneath that are going to show up once they start tumbling or stunting or jumping. You can also do it upside down. I should be able to do hers with her sitting, but if you're having issues, you can have them flip upside down and brush it from there. And then I will show you how to get rid of all these flyaways in a second. And even underneath the ponytail. This is the hard part, but still make sure that there's no bumps. Because their ponies are so high, a lot of times you can still see under the ponytail. Now, because I've started to brush it a little bit, it's starting to get staticky, and I want to get some more grip to take these extra bumps out. So I'm going to spray around where I'm brushing, and then I'm going to continue to brush, and that hairspray is going to start to hold everything in place, and it's going to start taking down some of those flyaways. And depending on the hair again, you might not be able to get it super smooth, and we'll show you how to use your clips and your bobby pins from there if you have an athlete with super thick hair. Or a lot of times you'll get it straight, and then you'll go to put the ponytail in, and you'll have like one big bump that you just can't get rid of. So, got the majority of her big bumps out here. Just got a couple on this side still gotta brush them out. I'm gonna give her a little bit more hairspray. And do not be afraid to use a lot of hairspray, especially if you're not used to using it. You need to use a lot, especially on the little ones, or if you know for sure that your athlete's tumbling a lot or on two teams, it needs to stay in all day through warm-ups. Okay, and we're going to try and put a pony in it now. She has silky fine hair like mine, so I'm assuming we're still going to have some little bumps on the sides. Now I'm just going to keep brushing it up. I want it super close to the front of the head, probably about 3 or 4 fingers from their hairline. That's how high we want their ponytails, okay? It's not a pony for cheer practice, it's not pictures. Competition ponies go way up on the top of the head. And then once they're done with warm-ups, they usually settle back a little bit. So if you put them too far back, that's when you get those bows that will flip up on the top of their heads. So as you can see, I've taken a pretty long time to make sure I've got it on the top of her head. Now, can you hold this or take off one of those for me? I will show you what kind of rubber bands I'm using. You need to use black hair ties or hair ties that match their hair color. Blonde, those brown ones. So what I'm going to do, and I will show you how to take these out. Show you what kind of hair ties we're using. So these are just black, and these are the thicker ones. Okay, these ones are going to work better, and we're actually going to use multiple of them to make sure that it stands up. So I have one down. Now I'm going to put this one underneath, and I'm going to try and get it this third time around. And then they also have the hair tie on their bow. So now as you can see, if you look at her from the front, you can see her ponytail. That's what we want. Okay, and the hair is kind of coming down on the sides. Now we are going to take some more hairspray. We're going to go up, and we're going to comb out and get rid of all of these flyaways. Again, like last year, we had some kids that didn't do anything with their flyaways. I know they're a pain, but you really need to try and get them up. They might look like they're up or loosely up when you're at home or in the hotel, but once they get to the competition and go through warm-ups, they're all falling down. So we're going to hairspray hers up. She's got lots of little fine baby hairs up here too, so we're just going to make sure they're pulled back. A lot of hairspray. Then you have two options. You can use these alligator clips. So these are just the clips that snap back and forth. And these are the color that best match her hair. Okay? Same thing as the hair ties. Either have them match your hair, your athlete's hair color, or they need to be black. And we're just going to go up and clip underneath. Not all the girls do this, but we're just going to show you in case you have some short hairs in the back that keep falling out. So I used 3, 1 on the center and then 2 on the sides of her hair. Now, I'm going to spin her around. Okay, and you can see those 3 clips, 1, 2, and 3. And then she can use those 2, or I can do it during warm-up. If their hair falls down, I can just clip them back up. This is how straight their ponytails need to look in the ponytail. This is how straight their hair needs to look. If it's wavy or frizzy or curly, you need to straighten it more before you put it up in the ponytail. We don't do the curls anymore. We don't do the poofs anymore. Nice and clean. We will do a little bit of a tease in this towards the end when she's almost done. So there is a high pony. Now, competition bow has your hair tie and your ribbons. You need to use both. So we're going to take the hair tie and we're going to go underneath the rubber bands that we already have in. So I'm getting it as low as possible. I'm going to spin her around. I'm putting it all the way down underneath those 2 hair ties that I already have in. And I'm going to pull it as many times around as I can. So that was 3 times around. And I'm going to flip her ponytail forward and grab the 2 ends of her string. And I'm going to tie that, look up a little bit, tie that even lower underneath all the rubber bands. This is what's going to keep it in. I usually do 2 knots and a bow. You want to make sure that these little tails are up far enough so they're not hanging out. So then you can see when the pony flips back, you can't see any of those. Boom. And that is how they stand straight up. Now, I prefer, do you usually put your tails under?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We prefer that, and I'm going to move the camera a little bit closer, that we have the kids tuck the tails of their bows underneath. So this was forward, okay? We tuck the bottom half underneath, and that's how our girls keep the bows standing straight up instead of laying back, like you see some of the teams that have their bows laying back. Now, from here, we again are either going to use bobby pins, black or the color of their hair, or those clips again. And we're going to snap those ends down. I'll show you that up close in a second. On either side. I prefer to use the clips underneath instead of the bobby pins. The bobby pins usually fly out. So I took that bottom tail and flipped it under, and I just have a clip through it attached to her hair that's up in the ponytail. Those you're going to want to make sure are in super tight, okay? Especially for kids that tumble and jump a lot. And these will, if they're in good, they will stay in all day. Kids that like their bows in super tight, you can take another clip and put it behind. Because some of them like their bows in super tight. So this isn't going to go anywhere. Okay? Now, I'm going to spray the back of her hair. We're going to give it just a little bit of height this year. Not a big poof. Not so it's rock hard. Okay, we're just going to hairspray this a little bit. Then we're going to take our brush. You can use a comb too. In this underneath section, just going to back comb it a little bit. Pulling the hair down. It's basically creating little knots. This is what makes it super hard to comb out after competitions. So you're just combing it down. Just this underneath we want. A couple years ago we did the whole thing back combed, and it started to get a little big. So we're going to back comb that, spray it. You can see it's starting to have some shape. Just get a little horn. Now we're going to take down half of the other half that you have up. We're going to do less back combing, but we're still just going to give it a little bit of height. Make it a little bit lighter. And then this last layer, just a little bit. Okay, so the hair is still straight. Okay, still straight, but it can get picked up a little bit. It's got a little bit more height. Some of them say that they look bald if they don't tease their ponies a little bit. And then if you pick this up and hairspray underneath where all the ends are, this will start to have some even more height to it. Just play with it and make sure it's pretty shape. Can also too, if it starts to get curly or get frizzy, you can run the straightener through it when it's up, but the majority of the straightening needs to be done when it's down. So there's from the side. Not a silky, small ponytail, but it's still straight. It's got a little bit of height to it. The bow's standing straight up. Doesn't have any flyaways down by her neck. And then most will probably, usually bobby pin these little flyaways. So just like that, that is the hair. Now for half up, half down, we usually take it right about from their natural hairline, kind of right above the center of the eye, and they just take that little part, not all the way back to the back, just that 3 or 4 inches of hair. So if you look at the top of her head, okay, that's all the room there is. Okay, the rest of their hair needs to come down and be straightened and turned under a little bit. You can back comb it, not too big, just a little bit, and then these bows go on the top. If they're going half up, half down, the bows need to be anchored in a little bit more because there's not as much hair holding the bow in. So there is that. Now I'm going to go close up. We'll circle so everyone can see. So bow standing straight up. Got 2 hair ties, and then the hair tie for the bow. The tails are up. The tails are tucked under, and then the ribbon on the bow is tied in the back. I usually carry hairspray and stuff in my backpack at competitions, so I will kind of touch them up unless we're in like a super big rush. Again, it is cheerleading. We do use lots of hairspray. Now, makeup. I'm going to show you a bunch of products on top of that makeup kit that you need to get. You will get one of these. This is what it will come with. And all you're going to get in here is the brush that you can use. I use a different brush that I will show you. You will get your white shimmer, the primer that has to go on the eye, and an eyeliner. I will show you some options of other products you can use, but you have to have the primer and the white shimmer to put on their eyes. So first thing I did, or they can do, if they wear foundation or concealer on their face, they can put that on their powder, anything normally that they would wear. We just put a little bit of concealer underneath Bella's eyes. This side of her face is done. I will zoom into that later. So this is the primer that you're going to get in your kit. It says Glitz Girl on it. It's just a neutral color. Close your eye. And you're going to cover the whole lid, close, all the way up until under the brow. Now, depending on how dark your skin tone is, you need to do some blending. So I'm all the way in to the center by the tear duct, and I'm following up under the brow. I'm just going to rub it in until it blends in. That is going to help the shimmer stay on all day. If you put it on without it, it's going to fall off halfway through the day. As I said on the Facebook page, we don't do super bright makeup here. We actually get a lot of comments that our look is more natural, that there's not glitter all the way up. So this is super natural compared to what some of you might be used to. Okay, the eyeliner in the Glitz Girl kit is different than what I'm going to use. As long as it's black, I don't care what kind of eyeliner you use. I will suggest a felt tip. Okay, so this is, who is this from? Rimmel, and this is what I use on a daily basis. This is called Scandal Eyes. It's actually on sale at Target right now. They come in containers like this. They already took it out of the package. It's hung up in the makeup aisle, Target, Walmart. I'm sure Walgreens has it too. I prefer this. It looks like a marker. It's the thicker one. I have used this one as well. This is kind of like a slanted one. If I can turn it sideways, you can see it. It's like a slanted marker. It's skinnier, but I prefer this one. So you don't have to use the black that's in the kit. It does come with it, but it needs to be black. No dark brown, no purple, black. And this is, let me make sure what color this is. These are just black. It's number 001. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to have her close her eye, and I'm going to start lightly on the inside, and as I get to the outside, I'm going to start making it thicker. It's just stuck. I'm just so mad. Perf. So she's going to close her eye. I'm going to step in front of her while I do this quick and I'll talk. So I'm going to take this. Needs to close her eyes lightly. For the little ones, you got to be patient with this. And have them open in between. So I have her open and I'm going to look at it and see what it looks like. Okay, so I need to do a little bit more. I do a couple coats with this, and I actually come back after I'm done and put another layer on it so it's completely black and not a little gray tint. So I'm following right where her lash line is. If they have eyelids that are hard to get this eyeliner on, you can just take your finger and just pull out the side of the eye a little bit, and that will flatten the lid out. I'm going to go back and touch up the first eye that I did. Just making sure that it's a nice solid black line. Since we don't do a lot of glitter on the eye, we want to make sure we see the black. So I'm going to have her close her eyes. I'm going to get closer here. So you can see it started like a skinnier line by the tear duct, and I followed it out all the way to the end of the eye, and I'm going to start to make it thicker as it gets out, and then I'm going to pull it out just a little bit off the side of the eye. So like I said, and I'm going to keep looking to make sure it matches the other side. I'm going to wing it out just a little bit. This one turned out good. Now, I'll show you a close-up once I finish. Harder, a little bit harder, especially on the little ones. We're going to go underneath this year, but just on the outside quarter or the outside half of the eye. You can see this. It's just about to the center of her eye. You're going to have them look up, and you're going to have them look away from you. So depending on what eye you're on, depends on which way they're going to look. Lightly tap. They can blink whenever they need to. I'm going to look and make sure it matches. Good. Now, as I'm coming across, you will start to see that you're going to connect with the top line. We want to connect them where the eye ends and then pull it out after that. So, yeah. Back to this one. Okay, and I will give you a close up on that. So, you can see, shut up a little bit and open your eye all the way. So underneath, this went just a little bit of black on the lash line, and then we connected it at the tip outside of the eye. Now close your eye. And then we took it out just a little bit off the side of the lash. And open. Nothing crazy. And again, I usually always go back after it's dried a little bit because it's a felt tip, it's going to be wet. So if you keep going over the black before you let it dry like a first coat, it's going to take it off and it's going to make it lighter. So I'll leave that right now. And I still have the primer on the eye. Just going And make sure I have enough up on the top. And that it's all blended in. Now you're going to take your shimmer that you got in the kit. Same little package. Be very careful when you open it. It can go everywhere. It's very loose, like a dust. I'm going to use a brush. This is a brush that I'm using. It's a thicker, lightweight brush. You're going to have them close their eye. If they have their uniform on, put something over the top of their uniform. Have them put a button-up shirt on. She's just going to close her eye. And I'm going to dust it over the entire lid, all the way up under the eyebrow. You don't need to push hard. If you push hard, you're going to ruin that eyeliner. And then I also have always put a little dot on the inside corner of their tear ducts. And you'll see, it's probably hard to see in the video, it's just a light shimmer. It's like a white, silvery color, but it's really going to catch the light. Now, I will do a close-up on that after. I'm going to use Bella's own mascara. She's using Benefit. I use, what is this? Maybelline. Again, it needs to be black, not dark brown. And we do want them to have mascara on. If you know that you're on minis, I would prefer them not to have mascara on, just because if they rub their eyes or cry, it's going to get everywhere. So no mascara for minis unless they've worn it before and you're confident it's not going to get everywhere. I'm going to have her keep her eyes open, and I'm going to place this under her lashes and just have her lightly blink, and then I'm going to pull it through her lashes. This way it doesn't get on anywhere. So blink, open and down, open and down. So I'm just placing it under, and then I'm just telling her to look down, and then I pull it through her lashes down. And you can do it until you get the look you're looking for. Harder. She's going to look up, and I'm going to take the end, and I'm just going to run it across the bottom lashes. You don't need to be trying to get so much on the bottom, but we do want some color. So she's just going to look up. She can blink whenever she wants to. And I did that on both eyes. So we will come up close again. So we done the glitter. Close your eyes. Again, super hard to see on the camera, but it's just a light dusting. I scared her. Okay. And now she has the black mascara on and just look straight forward. Okay. So thin line on by the tear duct. It gets farther out. You need to connect it underneath. Okay, light dusting, and then a black mascara. Plug my computer in here. Last on the eyes. This is something I carry in my backpack for them, but if your athlete wants this for themselves to have one, they can have it. Okay. NYX, NYX, New York Extreme, depends who you are, what you call it. This is Roll-On Shimmer. It's from Target. This is platinum. They have it in 3 colors. Make sure you get the platinum. It's on a roll ball, and I just do a half circle on their temples or by their eye. And that's on both sides, so I'm just going to make sure both sides match. And this is pretty dark. This is something that a lot of teams do now. Seems silly, but it really picks up the lights and the cameras. up on the stage. Let's see if we can get this camera to pick this up. Yep, so you can see there's just a half moon of glitter on the sides of the temples. Especially for the older girls or those parents that are okay with their kids having a little bit more makeup on, so they don't look pale and white on the face. I do suggest that they use bronzer. This is Physicians Formula. This is for all skin tones. It's just a multicolored bronzer. I'll show you what it looks like. Okay. This is just going to make sure that they don't look pale and white on stage. So this is what I personally do. You're going to go following the hairline on the top. Already put glitter on her. Temple, half moon, half circle down to where the cheekbone is. And I'm going to have her suck her lips in. And I'm going to go underneath where you see that shadow. I'm going to create a pretty dark line. And I'm just going to soften it a little bit. Okay, can I go? And I go on the sides of the nose too. Just where the sun would normally hit you. So turn to the side this side. You can kind of see these lines. I'll turn to the other way. So just gives them a little bit of a cheekbone. It puts a little color in their cheeks. You can use the same bronzer on their cheeks, or this is from the same company, Physicians Formula, but it's a blush. So it's just going to put a little pink. She's going to smile. And we're going to put some on the apples of her cheeks. So she has her own. I'm going to put this on.
Sure.
I do like them to have just clear lip gloss on. If they get pale through the lips, you can use a light pink. No lipstick, no lip stain. No glitter on the lips. So this is just her own clear across the lips. And now, so if it was my athlete and we were finishing, I would go back and I would check to make sure the eyeliner was solid. So I'm going to go back to the first eye and just have her close. And the second time through, you'd really be able to tell that it really puts a nice thick coat over that. So I'll do the top on both eyes. Close. Open. And look up. So I'm just making sure that those two lines are connected. And a lot of the parents, sometimes especially if you have a little one, you can lay them on the ground and do their eyeliner that way and they're not wiggling around. Or I've done it with kids just standing up against a wall because then their head isn't moving around. So, close. So just a light shimmer over the eye. Open. Black eyeliner over the top, thicker on the outsides, halfway across on the bottom. A little color in the face. If you want to get bronzer, like I said, I held up that package. Physicians Formula is great. We want them to look like cheerleaders, but we don't want them to have pounds and pounds of makeup on. So I'm just touching up the glitter on her eyes, make sure she has enough on. And then the glitter on the side. So again, you can buy this roll-on glitter, or I do put it on them on warm-ups, but some of them like to have it. I think it's like $6 at Target. Ta-da!